I'm pleased to welcome you to our Fireside chat with Belarusian activist Veronica Tsepkalo. I'm Ashley Davis, and I am the co-chair of the Advisory Council for the Women's Democracy Network. IRI established Women's Democracy Network in 2006 to empower women around the world to participate in the political process and pursue leadership roles in government, political parties, and civil society. WDN connects aspiring and accomplished women. Veronica is a perfect example of this, creating forums for sharing ideas and experience, as well as providing technical training and resource materials. We are in 86 countries in every region of the world and have 16 country chapters. WDN members have served in a range of leadership positions, including parliamentarians, deputy prime ministers, vice president, cabinet ministers, and ambassadors. But what we have today is something truly, truly special. Veronica, as I mentioned before we went on recording, this is just a true honor for me to be interviewing you, and what you have and your fellow women have been doing in this movement and this catastrophe that's happening in Belarus right now. Welcome.
Hello, Ashley. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor for me to be here. Thank you.
So I was wondering, for everyone that doesn't know what's going on, and especially this week alone, all the different information that has been in obviously the newspapers and the international media, but tell us what's going on with you and how this has impacted your family over the last 18 months, if not even before that.
Well, actually, I'm from Belarus. It's a European country. Our country is often referred to as the last dictatorship in Europe. For the last 26 years, the same person rules the country, and he managed to build a dictatorial regime or system where people are prosecuted only for having an alternative opinion, where no political opponent can survive in any way. If you are in a position, you end up either in the prison, or you could be murdered, like it happened with the previous opposition leaders, or you will end up in the exile. So the presidential elections in Belarus took place in summer 2020. In the beginning of the campaign, three strong opposition candidates, including my husband, were denied the right to register. From the day first of the presidential campaign, I was next to my husband. Before this campaign, I was living a normal life. I was working for the last 10 years in the IT business. But after my husband decided to take part in these presidential elections, of course, I did stand up next to him because I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there for him, for my people, for my family. Well, actually, as I said, like three strong opposition candidates were denied the right to register. Two of them were put to the prison, and they still are in the prison. The third one, my husband, he's facing the criminal charges. And that's why he decided to leave the country, because we knew the next step for him would be to imprison as well. So this is when I, together with my friend Maria Kolesnikova, she is the representative of another opposition candidate headquarters, we supported the only opposition candidate which was registered back then. It was Svetlana Tikhanovskaya. The election, actually, it took us almost 1 month to travel across the country. We got the chance to see how many people were ready to the change in Belarus. The largest meeting we had brought 67,000 people, which is an absolute record for Belarus political meeting whatsoever. The election took place in August 2020, and for the 6th time over the past 26 years, Lukashenko, this is the name of we call him former president of the Republic of Belarus, so he falsified the elections once again. And the level of resistance of the elections results is unprecedented in the post-war period, especially on the part of the women who stood up for and who protected their men. It's hard to believe that in the 21st century, the women and men are beaten up, tortured, killed, only for having a different point of view. So this is our story. It's in short. I'm sure probably some of you may probably see on the TV, in the mass media, what was happening in Belarus. It has been almost 9 months since the people of Belarus took to the streets in a peaceful protests against these fraudulent elections. And of course, we all the international community, Belarus people, we condemn the brutality and violation of the constitution and the basic human rights. And in order to convey the scale of the protests, as of today, 35,000 people have been arrested and jailed, which is an absolute record for any European country after the World War II. About one third of them are women. And as of today, in Belarus, there are more than 300 political prisoners. 45 out of this number are women, female, and this number is increasing every single day. For the 9 months, the people of Belarus still fight with the dictatorial regime, which really ruins people's life.
What do you think, why do you think that the women candidates this time have caught on? I mean, that was what was really interesting to me. And for those that are watching, I had a very little experience, but life-changing experience in 2004 and 2005 when other men were running for the opposition. But what I thought, what happened this time, and maybe it's the social media and everything else, but the women was what really caught on. And that's what fascinated me. And so I was wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, because they called us Trinity, 3 girls, 3 ladies, Svetlana, Maria, and myself. It was, I would say, the first time in Belarus history when we set an example of unity. Despite that, our candidates, we had different, all of them, they had different background, different education, different previous life, different vision on future of Belarus. We got together despite anything. We set an example that no matter how different we could be, we need to be united when we have the same target, when we have the same person which we need to get rid of. Because as I said, like for the 26 years, we've been living under this very harsh regime and we want to change it in our country. That's why, as I said, like we just set an example and the people believed us, people of Belarus are ready for the changes and people followed us. And it was unprecedented for Belarus in our history.
We always joke around, even I'm in politics in Washington, when the women get together, they can always make all these, they can pass bills much easier than no matter what party they're a part of. But no, it was very interesting. And I just love that. And I know through your Belarus Women's Foundation that you've been collecting all these stories in regards to some of the criminal activity that Lukashenko has been doing. And can you talk about that and how you're collecting it? And then I'm assuming eventually you're going to take it to The Hague for international, criminal review and all of that. Would you just touch on that a little bit?
Definitely. Actually, when we left Belarus, I mean, my family, my children left Belarus because, as I said, like we are facing the criminal charges. We ended up in Latvia. Now, basically, we reside in Latvia. I never had any thoughts of giving up our fights for freedom and democracy. And when I came to Latvia together with Belarus activists who reside in Belarus, who reside in different parts of the Europe, in Great Britain, in Germany, in Austria, in Denmark, etc. We registered Belarus Women's Foundation, and first of all, I would like to thank my team within Belarus Women's Foundation because it's a team of volunteers who work sometimes 24/7 because we understand that we are privileged to be free, and but at the same time, we have women, as I said, like 45 political female prisoners, and this number is increasing every single day. They're suffering for nothing. They were put in the prison for absolutely nothing. They're not prisoners. They did not commit any crime. All they did, they were vocal, and they were just trying, to change our country for better, to change our country for better future. So within this Belarus Women's Foundation, we decided to collect the stories of the women who got suffered from the regime, who was tortured, who was beaten up, who was raped, who was humiliated. And I sat down with these women one by one. I was interviewing them, and I was shocked. I was really shocked because some of the interviews, for some interviews, it took me 3 hours, 4 hours just to talk to this woman, because it's so emotional interviews. I mean, both for women, to go through the prison, unlawful prison, it's so painful. I mean, the women, some of the stories are really shocking. I mean, when I collected I personally collected about 25, maybe 30 stories. It's video stories. The rest of my team, they collected much more stories. And, and some of the stories are so powerful. Especially, I remember one of the story with the woman, she has 5 children, and she was put in the prison. And the youngest child, who is 8-year-old, she is put in the orphanage house, even though she has elderly children. The women were sharing the stories on the conditions they are in the prisons. I mean, no access to basic sanitary needs. I mean, you're not allowed to take a shower, or you're allowed to take a shower only once within 2 weeks, and it's a cold shower. You're not allowed to wash your hands. You're not allowed to wash your hair. You're cramped in the cell, 38 people instead of 4 people, which is, I mean, the cell is for 4 people, is meant to be for 4 people. And they put 38 people in the same cell, despite of the very severe COVID situation in the country. Women did not provide any medical support. I mean, the stories are so scary, and it really, resonated me as a woman, as a mother, as a citizen of my country. That's why, as we talk within our team, we should move forward. We should never give up, because we have women, we have men who still there in Belarus in the prisons for absolutely nothing.
When do you think you'll be able to share those stories? I mean, is there a timeline because of him still being in quote power that, it would put their lives in danger? And so how are you handling that?
Well, actually, some of the stories, not most of the stories, but some of the stories are already put in our social media, because we have website, we have Instagram, we have different social media. So we've uploaded some of the stories there. Some of the stories we are not allowed to upload because of the different reasons. Women are still in Belarus, so there, there are issues of security. Some women, for example, they ask us to blur their face or to change their names because they're still in Belarus, or their loved ones, their family is still in Belarus. And this video can put them in potential danger in Belarus. Some of the videos which we collected, we are not going to ever upload to the social networks. So that's why, 10 days ago, we filed a suit to International Criminal Court to The Hague. And of course, we did attach these video interviews, the evidences of these crimes, atrocities, which Lukashenko commit to Belarus women. So we, every time we have a chance to upload the interview, of course, we do it in our social media. You can check our website, you can check our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc.
Yeah, those stories are just so powerful that you're even explaining right now. And having the international community really understand what's happening to the women, also men, would be very important and moving, I'm sure.
Actually, let me give you just one example. Like, as I said, just think, 35,000 people were imprisoned from the August 2020 up to now, which is an absolute record for any European country since World War II in Europe. And you have to realize these people are not criminals. None of them commit any crime. All we did, we asked people to go out for the peaceful protests. This is peaceful revolution in Minsk. You cannot find a single broken glass. You cannot find a single burnt car. You cannot find, civilians did not kill each other. People were out there just for fighting for their basic rights. And that's why they were put to the prisons. because this one person, Lukashenko, he doesn't want to give up his power, even though he promised many, many times to the people of Belarus, if you don't want me any longer, I'm going to step out. This time did not happen.
35,000 people. And how have they let people out at all, or are they still in those parts of those 35,000?
Some people, most of the people are still in the prisons, as I said, like the opposition candidates, two major opposition candidates, they're still in the prison. My friend Maria Kolesnikova, who was with us in this campaign, in this female trio together with me and Svetlana, she is still in the prison. I mean, she was arrested in September, and now she faced up to 12 years in the prison. Just think, 12 years for nothing. And this is unacceptable. We cannot, I will fight until my last breath, until all the prisoners are released in Belarus.
Thank you for that very powerful message you just gave us. And I hope everyone that's watching can be helpful with that. But I do want to talk about, because what you're doing for women around, Belarus, but obviously inspiring women, you're inspiring me, that's for sure. Around the world. But one of the other initiatives that you're working on is inspiring women from around the world talk about their paths. Some are hard, some not as hard, obviously, of what you've been going through. But how is that helpful to the women of Belarus to get that message to them that, listen, these women fought. We do a lot of work with women in Africa or the Middle East, from IRI perspective. And it's like what they've had to go through to do what they've been able to do in their countries. And why do you think it's important for the Belarusian women?
For many years, our president, we call him former president of Belarus, he insulted Belarus people, including women, describing us in such vile terms as pigs, sheep, rats, prostitutes. He even stated that the constitution is not meant for women. As he never believed and underestimated the power of women, this is one of the reasons why he allowed to register Svetlana during the presidential campaign in Belarus. So this is one of the reasons we decided to look not only in the present and in the past, but we also realized that sooner or later this dictatorial regime will fall, and we'll have to move forward. We'll have to move further in our development as a country, as a people, etc. Therefore, we launched this project with a project where influential women share their stories. We just want to demonstrate these women are like us. They have families, they have children, they have some challenges in their lives, but they managed to build a successful career. They managed to be successful leaders. They managed to be successful wives, mothers, and leaders or professionals. And after I started to interview these influential women, I realized that everything is possible. No matter, the only thing which is matter, your desire and your hard work. That's why we want to show to all Belarusian women that the future is there. Even though we were underestimated for many, many years, sometimes we feel very insecure, underestimated, but we want to show them the future is there. The women, international leaders, influential women are there, and they're ready to share their experience, because I'm sure that our women, Belarusian women, are the best. We are so creative, we are so beautiful, we are so brave, and we have a bright future.
Well, I think that through that, and then what you said and what you did with the documentary about the stories, with the prisoners and the I Am a Political Prisoner documentary did, is that, and you said it earlier, you'll fight to your last breath to get people, out of prison, but that the combination of empowering the women of Belarus, but also the political prisoners of Belarus, is that what continues to make you motivated? I mean, obviously this has been going on almost a year at this point. And so, and correct me if I'm wrong, like the peaceful protests aren't happening as much. And so what makes you continue that fight? Just knowing these people's stories, and what gets you up every day to fight for these women and men?
You know, in the beginning of the campaign, when we just started the campaign together with my husband, because back then we didn't have a team with us. In Belarus, it's dangerous for your life to announce that you're going to run for the presidency, because if you announce that you have these kind of plans, you will be immediately put to the prison. Like this is what regime did with Sergei Tikhanovsky. That's why back then, when we just started the campaign together, just two of us with my husband, you know, I remember our first meetings when people did not believe that any change can occur in Belarus. The most frequently asked question which we received was, why are you doing this? You know that nothing is going to change in Belarus. For the 26 years, this person in the power, and he is going to stay in the power. But as we will move forward during this campaign, you know what we saw? When Lukashenko gave the order to arrest the first candidate, Sergei Tikhanovsky, we saw the chains of solidarity. The same happens when he gave to arrest another candidate. And we saw that the people started to, you know, like waking up. Before they were scared, afraid, and now their eyes started to open, you know. It gave us the power to move forward and to continue our fight. When I joined our female trio with Svetlana and with Maria, and we saw how many people would, you know, ready for the change, ready for the new country. The people of Belarus gave us the power to move and to go through this campaign. The same happened, the same story stays now. I mean, like the people of Belarus, our women, you know, who organize these beautiful white and red marches, who our students who go out in the streets and demand their rights, our elderly people, I mean, different initiatives which are coming from the people of Belarus. I see, especially when I started to collect the stories of the women who went through the prisons, who went through the tortures, beatings, etc. When I listen to these stories, I realize I have no right to give up. I have no right to stop. I need to move forward because my friend Maria, she is still in the prison. 45 other women are still in the prison. The mothers of 5, the mothers of 4, mothers of 3 are still in the prisons. They do not get a chance to see their children. They do not get a chance to raise their children. And this is not right. We live in the 21st century in the European country. And we need to change it as soon as possible. We have to live in the free and secure country. That's the people of Belarus gives me the power to move forward and not to give up.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. And you talked about the peaceful protests with red and white, and the colors represent, if I'm correct, and please correct me if I'm wrong, from when there was a democracy in Belarus, correct?
Yeah.
And you've started an initiative around the fashion world, or people wearing red and white, show your fingernails, to support what's happening. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, definitely. You know, in modern Belarus, you're put to the prison only for wearing white and red garments, only for putting a flag. Our red and white colors are historical colors of Belarus. Before Lukashenko, it was our flag, and this is historical flag of Belarus, historical colors of Belarus. When Lukashenko just became a president, he prohibited all the white and red colors. And this year and last year, women are put to the prison only for wearing these colors. Women, you know, like we have witnesses, the girls who were put in the prison like for 14, 20, 30 days, only for wearing these colors. That's why within Belarus Women's Foundation, we launched this initiative, Fashion for Freedom Initiative. We appeal to the fashion designers to create, maybe, you know, renowned, well-known designers, maybe this is young designers. We ask them to create a clothing collection or just dedicate one piece of the current collection to Belarus women, to our fight, and make this garment or the collection in red and white colors. Your support will be crucial for us because it will show us the solidarity across the world. It will give us the power to continue our fight. We need your support badly.
It's such a wonderful initiative, and I think that is such a fabulous idea, and I hope that people are starting to do this.
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully, we ask the fashion designers, if one of you is a fashion designer, please think of women of Belarus and please dedicate your current collection to women of Belarus and make it in a white and red colors. We will appreciate it so much, and we will, we will be advertising you as a person who pays attention to the human rights.
So we have one more question, and I think that, you know, what would you think? I mean, obviously this story is so touching and so moving and so like everyone around the world needs to be paying attention to what's happening here, not just women, but men. And um, there are women in a lot of other countries that are dealing with not necessarily this, but other issues that are not letting them run for office, or obviously there's places in the Middle East that don't let women, don't let women do much at all. So would you give them a message of just how that this fight, how the incremental changes you've seen in every little bit of work that you do does pay off? And just to be inspirational, there's a lot of people that will watch this fireside chat and look to you for inspiration of what you've been able to do.
I would say to these women, never give up. Stay united, because women, like women, we are so strong. Fight for what is you believe is right for you, what is right for your country, what is right for your family. Be strong, be a woman. There is a saying, women are power, and women in solidarity are superpower. So fight for your dream, fight for your country, fight for yourself.
I love that quote, by the way. Well, Veronica Tsepkalo, I am truly honored to meet you over Zoom. I wish it was in person, and what you were doing, what everyone's doing, is just unbelievable. I'm so happy that IRI has been able to work with you on this, and I hope in the future we get to meet each other and just I can tell you all this in person. Thank you.
Ashley, thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate your attention to Belarus. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.